Welcome to yet another exciting episode of LastRow Club podcast. This is your host, Vitthal Mane, founder of LastRow Club, a wonderful human being at heart, with humanity as my religion and one nation as my nationality. I'm a career analyst, content creator, a lifestyle coach, and a branding strategist. On this podcast, from solo to interactive sessions, each episode aims to empower you and guide you with actionable strategies and tips for your personal growth and building your stronger inner world. लास्ट रो क्लब को सुनते रहना मतलब जिंदगी से जुड़े रहना. It was 3 weeks back. I just thought of sharing my 7-step success blueprint. With that idea, I started talking around all those 7 steps. And in my earlier episodes, I have already covered 3 steps towards the success. Now, in this episode, I'm going to talk to you about the 4th step in the journey. Now, the 4th step is becoming self-reliant. And inside the becoming self-reliant, there are actually 4 stages which I am going to talk about. How to keep your cup empty. What is basically a focus when I'm talking about you need to be very focused on your goals. Third is your EQ is more important than your IQ. And the 4th one is your health is also a result of your thoughts. Now, in this episode, I'm going to talk only around what is exactly when I'm saying you need to keep your cup empty. Before even I begin, I just want to ask you again as a listener that have you heard my earlier episodes on this 7-step success blueprint? If not, I'm highly recommending you that please go and listen to them as well. And I'm sure even if you are listening this episode at random first time, and this episode also will inspire you to go back and listen to those 3 steps as well. Now stay with me because in this podcast, I'm going to start with a story, a wonderful story. And then I'm going to share my own experience why I'm talking about emptying your cup is very, very crucial when you are really looking forward for your success. Now, this story might relate to each one of us somewhere in our life. And the moral of the story is, which is very important for you to remember, you don't get what you want. You always get what you are. And it's very important that you keep your cup always empty to learn and raise yourself to get what you really want. And now, this story, what I'm going to share with you, has many learning beyond just emptying the cup. So whenever I really want to learn something new, I make sure myself that my cup is empty and I'm participating 100% to learn and acquire that skill and whatever I'm getting inside any new subject. Now this story is about Master Suzuki and Harry. And just a disclaimer, I just named these characters and nothing to do specifically with these names in this story. But it might happen that you might have heard this story earlier also. But how I relate this story with the success blueprint, that is what is very important in this podcast. Now, once a long time, there was this wise Zen master named Suzuki who lived in the mountains in Japan. He used to run his own school to teach way of Zen to the students. Despite its reputation for rigorous discipline, school always used to have a long waiting list of students seeking his coaching and wisdom. And study was divided into 4 levels. And those 4 levels were aspirant, apprentice, acolyte, and adept. Now listen to this story ahead. At the first level of aspirant, which was primarily involving a lot of rigorous manual labor work for a year of a time, such as cleaning the campus, washing and sweeping the courtyard, working on the garden and fields, cooking and serving, and including many other menial tasks as well. And many of the students used to drop out of this school within this first year, being fed up with this tedious task. And once they finish the first year successfully, those students would be taken to the next level of apprentice. That is how the curriculum was designed by the Zen master. On one fine morning, our dear Harry reaches to the school with the aspiration of learning the art of Zen from Master Suzuki. A master says him, you will have to go through the curriculum of the studies, and the first year will be full of hard manual labor work, and hope you are fine with that. Harry, with little annoyed face, says to master, but sir, I have spent last over 7 years studying the masters and doctorate. I feel I am overqualified to just be a mere aspirant. A master says him, Harry, you may leave if you do not agree with the terms. And this is how Harry agrees to the terms and continues with the first level of aspirant with mere manual labor work. After a year of all those menial hard work, time comes for an annual graduation ceremony. And all the students queues up waiting for the results. This man, Harry, gets rejected and he gets told to go back in the same level for another 3 months. He starts requesting and asks them what is the reason behind it and requests them if he can meet Master Suzuki. And everyone denies it and informs him to leave if he don't want to continue. Now he continues that first level. Even after 6 months, he again gets rejected to remain at the first level itself. Now this time, he literally gets furious and decides to find his own way to meet Master Suzuki. And one day, he just finds a way out and he just sneaks into the Master Suzuki's room. He bows down to him and says, "Oh, great master, please help me. I need to speak to you about this unfair treatment what I have been given for so long." Master Suzuki tells him to rise and just pour a tea for him. Now, Harry pours a tea which rose up to the rim of the cup, and just he was about to stop, the Master Suzuki says him, "Keep pouring." Harry looks at the brimming cup and says, "But master, the cup is full." Then master says him, "There lies your first lesson. Do not think. Do. When you think, you make assumptions. And when you make assumptions, you make fool out of your teacher and the students as well. You have already chosen a path. You are here and I am your master. There should not be any doubt or any query. And if you are not ready to follow without any assumptions, then we both cannot proceed. Did I ask you to stop from pouring? What makes you think that my purpose is for you to just fill the cup?" Now Harry gets annoyed and talks to himself that if this man wants me to pour, then let me pour. So Harry continues to pour the tea, and the tea spills over the cup onto the table and then over the mat of the floor. Now whereupon master says, "Behold now." Pointing towards the cup, he says, "This is you." And pointing towards the teapot, he says, "This is a knowledge awaiting you. You are like this teacup, so full of your own opinions and speculations that nothing more can be added. How can I show you Zen unless you first empty your cup. And then Master says him, come back to me when your cup is empty. All the learning in this world is useless when your cup is full. And that's how, as I said, the moral of the story, what you need to remember is, you don't get what you want. You always get what you are. Keep your cup always empty to learn and raise yourself to get what you want. Now, to further make you clear the concept of emptying your cup, I want you to relate this with your progressive life. Now, even if you, whatever age or whatever professional journey you are at, if you look back, the way your life has progressed wherever you are today, it was never a point that you did your high school and that's where your journey stopped, or you finished your graduation and that's where your journey stopped. You or your goals kept on moving as you progressed in your life, and that's where you kept on learning as well. And that's what is very important when you come out of your academics and you start your professional career. You need to understand that you have to keep learning progressively so that you move towards your success. And success is never a goalpost or a one-stop location where you reach and you decide that this is the success and that's it. Now I don't want to do anything else in my life. So you must understand the way progressively you learned and you made success in your academics. Then you started your professional journey. In the professional journey also, look at the technology, how fast it is changing. The way work was done few years back, it has changed drastically. So what happens when you really want to progress in your professional career? There also you need to keep yourself updated with the technology on a technical front, and as well as when you want to handle a higher role and responsibilities, you need to learn maybe more than IQ, you need to be more competent in EQ. You have to learn leadership skills, people management skills. So the point what I want to make here is, you have to consistently learn and update yourself so that you remain competent and move towards your success, whatever goals you are having in your life. Hope we are together as of now and you really understand the importance of being a student for whole of your life, right? Now, most of the challenges comes at the mid-career, or when you're already experienced professional or you're in your business for a long time and you have your own title and achievements and everything. There comes a challenge when you really want to learn something new. And when it comes to your personal growth, apart from whatever you are doing professionally, you see that there is something different which you really feel you want to learn and acquire. Their challenge comes to let go your learnings, whatever you have learned as of now from different subjects, different profession, and you know yourself that you really want to learn something new, and you're not able to let go your titles, your achievements, your other learnings, and you carry them, and while carrying it with you, you want to learn that new topic. And that's where you must understand and always remember that you need to empty your cup. And that's how you can really learn anything new in your life and make sure that you are successful in any new topics, whatever you want to pursue in your journey. And while I am saying so, I was not different than most of you, because even it was difficult for me to let go my learnings and my titles as well when I really wanted to learn something different other than my profession of mechanical engineering in oil and gas sector. But when I really realized the importance of keeping myself as a student of life, I started emptying my cup. And when I really practically implemented this in my life, if I really summarize it, I have actually learned, apart from my academics as a mechanical engineer, I have also done my graduation in computers. I've also done graduation in my business administration, piping engineering, and apart from these academic learnings, I have done so many certifications into HR, people management, NLP, leadership skills, and this was only possible when I really let go my titles and my achievements and my engineering learnings. Correct? And that was so important for whatever I am today in my journey as an entrepreneur. Keeping my cup empty really helped me learning all these different topics while I was busy with my profession. And because I kept myself in the shoes of a student and learned these topics, I could really assess when a time came to venture into my own entrepreneurship. I could really gauge myself and understood that I'm really strong in these topics as well, because I practically implemented the learnings what I learned from all those different topics than engineering, and it really boosted my confidence to start something new. And that is what I want you to take from this podcast, that how it is essential and crucial that you keep your cup empty and always remain as a student of life. And practically, I also understand that it is very difficult. Sometimes when you are 20, 30 years experience professional, it's very difficult for some people to let go and start something fresh, start something new, and start learning entirely new subject. And when you really want to implement this practically in your life, a simplest way is to follow living in mindfulness. And if you really want to learn what exactly living in mindfulness, you can actually go to my first episode of the first season, where I have recorded an entire podcast on living in mindfulness. Now, how you can really practice meditation and then implement living in mindfulness in your life. That will really help you to keep your cup empty and always be a student of life, so that you can really learn anything at any age or any stage of your journey, and that will really help you to move further towards whatever success, goals or dreams you are having aspiration to achieve in your life. I'm sure after listening to this podcast, you would love to be a student of your life and learn all those new things which are aligned with your own vision, goals and dreams. If you want to learn more on your personal growth and how you can really focus and make sure that make your journey towards success fast-paced, always go to LastRowClub.com and register yourself with your name and email address, and you will be part of my weekly newsletters where I am keeping my community updated with the new topics and the new batches whenever I am conducting for the different coaching courses which we have inside the LastRow Club. Now, if you have stayed in this podcast so far, then it's time to respond to our podcast question. Now, I want to know, if you're listening up till now, I want you to answer this question and drop a response, that what is that next subject are you planning to learn so that you will move one step closer to your success. Drop your response on our website lastrowclub.com on this episode, and I'll pick the most exciting response at random to announce the winner on the next podcast. I'll keep announcing the winners on following week's podcast once I start receiving the responses. आपको हमारा ये एपिसोड कैसा लगा ज़रूर बताइए. Go to lastrowclub.com and drop your feedback there. Before I leave, as I always say, let's create a beautiful legacy of a great mankind with only religion as a humanity and single nation with no boundaries. Signing off for now, this is your host, Vittal Mane. We'll talk to you next week with fresh and high vibrating thoughts. Until then, take care, stay safe and healthy. and do keep listening to LastRow Club.